How did you find out about this church then? How long have you been here?
Well, I've been here for 2 years.
Yes.
I originally came as the priest in charge. The church was at a really low ebb when I arrived. The living on the parish had been suspended. There was a small congregation and a small team of dedicated people, but there was no church wardens, no treasurer, and the sort of diocese were very concerned about the future of the parish. The building has got some problems and needs a bit of money spending on it. So Bishop basically just said to me, you know, what kind of job are you looking for? What you after? And at the time, I was a bit like, you know, I really want to go somewhere where I'm totally needed, not just wanted, you know, with my particular skill set. Yeah. And I sort of said to him, so what's the worst case scenario? What's the parish that's about to close? And he said, could you go and have a look at St. Jude's? And so I came up here on a few occasions, building was closed. As you sort of recognised, very different area. Yeah. I always sort of thought I'd be working in kind of inner city poverty and stuff like that, but that's not this area. And I sort of just had a look around. I thought, strange area, not sure this is me. Came up again, building still closed. Came up again, the building happened to be open because there was a recording going on and they had a lunch break. Yeah. And I stepped in and I just went, wow.
That's what I did, yeah.
Completely love at first sight. Absolutely mind and heart soaring. It's like, wow, somebody's got to do something about this. And I was appointed originally as the priest in charge just to see if we could turn the ship around. Yeah. And then after that, I was made vicar actually just about 3 months ago. So now I'm the incumbent. Yeah.
Have you turned it around? Or is it a process?
I mean, it's a process, definitely. Yeah. But I think we're in a much better place than we were.
And is it as simple as bums on seats on a Sunday?
It's not as simple as that, no. It's actually...
Tell me how.
Well, I think what you have to do as a vicar is you have to keep turning up. So one of the things that was really important for us is to get the doors open, to be open every day, you know, so people can actually come. I think it's really important to kind of just lean into what's going on. So actually this is a parish that's full of really talented people that have got a lot to give and a lot to offer. And if somebody says to me, oh, you know, I've got this idea, I'd quite like to do this, I'm like the first person to go, yeah, let's go for it, brilliant, let's give it a go, let's see what happens, you know. And I think that's really important, is you become a yes person. Okay. And I think the parish had become a no parish. It was like literally nothing was happening, you know. And you've got this amazing building in this amazing location.
Can you give me an example of what you said yes to?
Well, I think one of the things that I kind of identified when we got here is that although we didn't have sort of church wardens or treasurers, we had an amazing choir, you know.
Great, yeah. Okay.
So we had an amazing director of music, Nicholas Chalmers, super talented, really charismatic, just wherever he is, the music comes, do you know what I mean? Yes. And I was just like, okay, well, why is St. Jude's not being recognised as one of the great choral parishes in London?
Are they a professional choir or just...
So we have choral scholars, basically. So we have 8 choral scholars, 2 organ scholars, and we have conducting scholars. We've also got a pop scholar as well, which is something that I introduced. You know, so we have just a very, very talented group of musicians in the building, but nobody knows about it, you know. Yeah. It's all sort of like some kind of hidden secret, you know. So I think part of what we've had to do is change the narrative of St. Jude's. This is not a failing parish. This is actually one of the leading parishes in North London. And that's, I think, actually where we are a little bit more now. And we've introduced choral evensong, some of those services that sort of show off the choir, you know.
How often do you do that?
We do it once a month at the moment. I mean, I'd love to do it every Sunday, but at the moment we just don't quite have the budget.
Yeah, but...
You know, yeah, but once a month.
I don't understand how churches get the budget to do those things anyway.
Because, no, I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because most people don't understand that parishes are completely self-funding. Yeah. They think that the government pays for this all, and it just doesn't, you know. And also there's the common fund contribution, so you have to give back a certain amount of money into the common fund.
I thought you were about to tell me that you got money from that, but no.
No, you know, so to have a stipendiary priest and to house them, we all have to give back, you know, I think in London it's about £96,000 a year. Okay. So it's almost £100,000 a year, you know, which is our commitment as a parish. So you've got to try and meet that somehow. and keep
and maintain the building, keep
amazing
everything going.
building going. Yeah.
Does it still feel novel within the church to be within the Anglican Church to be a woman, or is it just kind of like
I think
it's settled?
I think it's less and less novel
Yeah.
actually for people. For the general public, for the laity, do
Yes.
you know what I mean? So I think they're so used.
Jennifer Saunders got us over that.
Well, Dawn French.
Dawn French got us
Well,
over
yeah.
that.
It's one of the things like people quite often shout at me. It's like, "Oi,
Jennifer.
Vicar of Dibley, oi!" You know, which yeah. Thank you. Don't do that. I think London Diocese is still quite a tough place for women priests.
Yeah.
There's still not very many women. There's quite a low level percentage of female incumbents. That's women in leadership. You know,
Yes.
I personally get quite a lot of trolling and quite a lot of abuse online, so it can be quite tough still.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's time for women to have full equality in the Church of England. You know.
Is there a sense where you don't then?
Yeah, definitely. There's still, you know, parishes can decide whether they want a female priest or not.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they can become what is known as a society parish, forward in faith parish, where they will not have a female incumbent. You know, and I think that's problematic. You know, personally. You know, but we're still working our way through all these kind of issues. You know.
I mean, I've got to imagine that it's a generational thing and is going to.
Well, you say that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think actually, you know, I think when women started being ordained, I think generally most people felt that idea would kind of fade away.
Yes.
And it would become the norm as it is in so many other sort of movements,
Yeah.
like the Episcopal Church. Completely normal for women priests and never any question about it. Same as the Methodist Church. But somehow that movement has kind of still maintained and sort of gathered some steam, actually, you know. So it's a tricky subject, you know, but I think one of the things about being a priest in the Church of England is you have to learn to walk alongside people you profoundly disagree with, you know, and to do it in good faith and to do it with a good heart, you know. And I tend to just concentrate on my work, what I'm doing, and doing it to the best that I possibly can, and not get too caught up on these things, really, because it could drive you mad.
So I've definitely been to places where, so I didn't know they'd probably call themselves a society church, and what that means.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual way of referring
Yeah.
to that. But
Well,
they probably would have called themselves that. But I was speaking to, you know, the person I was speaking to said, it's not uniform even here that everyone thinks that. But the people, you know, they have convictions in you, and you can wait them out.
I think one of the things that I would question and really push back on is transparency. Is that I think it would be really good if the parishes that were not affirming to LGBTQ and the parishes that are not affirming to women leadership were transparent about it. So it was very clearly, very clearly put on the website and stuff. It's just, you know, hey guys, just so you know, this is where we are as a parish.
Because then you get a bottom-up movement saying, come on now.
Well, and also people often don't know that they're in those parishes.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't.
Until they're well embedded in, and then they're like, oh, hold on a second. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know,
and so that would be the bit that I would say. I think transparency, and also, you know, safeguarding is such a big issue in the Church of England, and we have to be so careful and really vigilant, you know. And I think without that kind of transparency, it's actually quite difficult to be 100% safe. That is my personal thinking on the matter, you know. Yeah.
But I will say this: I ask all sorts of things because I don't know anything. So I ask stupid questions. And generally speaking, people let me put anything in the film. You know, because I always show the film to the people that I've made, and they go, and if I go, if there's anything in there that you don't like, I'll just take it out. And the same applies to you.
Cut.
Yeah.
And
the only thing that has come up like that, where more than one person has said, "Oh, could you not include that?" is on this subject.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well,
people are
that
like,
transparency thing is a very interesting.
I think that would be the one thing that I'd always push back on is that I think transparency is really important. You know, so here at St Jude's, we're very clear about who we are as a parish. We're very clear that we're an inclusive church. You know, there's nothing hidden about this parish. Is what you see is what you get. Do you know what I mean? We are high church. We're Catholic facing in our tradition. That ain't going to change. Do you know what I mean? But that's the one area that always I was just thinking. I think we just need more transparency.
Is it a good acoustic?
It's a world-class acoustic. So the way we financially sort of keep the roof on at the moment is by renting the building out for high-end recordings. So some of the most important classical artists have recorded their albums here. Like Nigel Kennedy recorded his 4 Seasons here. You know, it's particularly amazing for voice and for strings.
Would you mind if I tried it?
No, go for it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That is magical.
It really is, yeah. And I was a musician and a singer before I became a priest.
Really?
Yeah. So I've reintroduced a full sung preface and everything since I've been here. So it's a terrific place to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see? This makes me want to come on a Sunday and see a service. And
there you go.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a slippery slope, my friend.
Yeah. Well,
your head will be in the font in no time.
The music. Yeah. Well. I like the fact you keep trying.
That's how it happened. I didn't grow up in a Christian family.
Yeah, really?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So where did you study music?
I went to the arts educational schools, and then I did quite a lot of private study. I had a professional music career before I was a priest, and I was in this sort of 90s supergroup called the Medieval Babes, which had several classical #1 albums and did a lot of TV and film work and touring and stuff.
Lovely.
You know? And I think the way I came to faith was through singing in buildings like this, because we sang in a lot of cathedrals all over Europe. I think that God's voice can be most clearly heard through music, personally for me. Anyway, you know. So, you know, and you know, for me, this is actually my first incumbency, you know, and to be able to be in a parish that has such a strong music life is just, you know, such a gift. Yeah.
Being a vicar,
yeah.
You're a gardener, you're a building manager, you're...
Oh, yeah, you have to be a jack of all trades,
yeah.
Especially if you're a parish priest. You know, in other fields, you can be much more specialist, you know, if you're a chaplain or work within cathedral ministry or something like that. But as a parish priest, you've got your arm down the U-bend of a toilet, you're moving chairs, you're doing admin, you know. There's all these things going on all the time. It's partly why I love it, because you never quite know what the day is going to bring, you know. Part of the reason I decided to run a pub for a while is because I thought they were important.
They were good.
You know, the pubs, the libraries, the churches.
Yeah.
You know, these are the buildings that everybody is welcome to walk into at any point in the day. You know, and when they're gone, they are gone, and they're not coming back again. So we all need to rise up and make sure that we support these buildings, and we make sure that they're here for generations to come. So the whole of this is built by Lutchens, and these houses.
It is a bit like heaven, isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely. And I keep having that kind of, like, oh, maybe I just died and this is the paradise that God has made for me, like a beautiful church with an amazing choir.